Someday you'll have like a huge recording studio and production team, but for now you just hit start.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? Eventually. So everyone, today I'm sitting here with Jack Moses, who is a super, super cool individual. Um, and just before we hit start, I was actually just talking about like showing up on camera, and like Jack was asking me about that. Um, I just wanted to, yeah, bring that up because I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, Jack. But like, yeah, when you're recording a podcast, this is kind of meta, but when we're recording a podcast like this, I'm aware that you and I are having a conversation, right? But then in the back of my head, there's like a part of me that's like, oh, you know, what I'm about to say next valuable for the listener? Like, oh, I'm trying to piece things together and formulate my words in a way that's going to resonate with people or strike a chord.
Yes, it's the observer effect.
Yeah, like how with a podcast yourself, and you've had a bunch of episodes, and I've watched a bunch, and it's great. Yeah, how do you walk that fine line of like being engaged in the conversation, but then also taking note of what might be valuable, what can serve people in a sense, you know?
It's a dance. I think you just intuitively flow with it over time. Now, I want to touch on that observer effect thing because what you're talking about is, and we can come down to like quantum physics stuff. Like when a particle is observed, just by an observer being there, its behavior is changed. So if we're a reflection of the universe, which is just quantum physics, when we're being observed, we change who we are because there's now an observer there or an imaginary observer in the podcast. I think what I try to think about, I haven't thought about it till now, but like if you're completely cool being the same you by yourself with a person or with an audience, that's freedom.
Mm, for sure.
And then the observer effect goes away.
Mm. Off the top of your head, do you have like what are, if any, like principles or like simple practices to kind of step into that presence? Like, do you have any preferred methods or anything come to mind there?
There's a lot of different tools and things to help. So a tool that I enjoy working with and playing around with is this, a card, a oracle card. Not necessarily a tarot card. Tarot card is more of the flavor of storytelling and like trying to make sense of things from my perspective. Oracle is more of just like calling in an energy. So I literally sat down, I had the intention of like, what energy do I want to call into this conversation? And this is the card that came up. It says, Divine emergence, be seen, let the world know your gifts, which is kind of what we're talking about, right?
Oh, that's cool.
So it seemed that that's one tool. Now, I mean, you can get practical with like the breath, feeling your feet on the floor. Those things are all good too.
Mm.
I think it's whatever connects with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my feet on the floor. I'm like sitting like cross-legged.
Perfect. Let's go. No, so sometimes I do podcasts with my feet up and like leaning back, like it's makes it chill.
Mm. Yeah, because even yeah, it's so true how like I find as well, just posture makes a difference. Like how you express yourself. Like if I'm chilling, laid back, I'm just like vibing, but then you can be more rigid, you can be upright and formal. But super, super fascinating, man. I wanted to touch on too, like I guess we're just diving right into it. I wanted to ask you about your seemingly recent, maybe not so recent, but you're really diving into astrology from what I can see. I know you started like an astrology centered newsletter the other day. I see you talking about it a lot on the timeline. Um, I want to ask you more about that and like even was there a specific point where you really started to dive into astrology and like can you tell me a bit more about that? Like how that's kind of progressed for you?
Yeah, it started off with I got a reading like last October and it was just fun. And it was fun to get it. I was interested in it because a friend who I really trusted was like, "Yeah, I talk to this astrologer once a year." And I was like, "That's so interesting. Like, you pay him $400 to talk to him. Why? That seems so wild. Like, let me go try it." And it was super insightful and pointed things out to me that I didn't necessarily want to hear and helped me see things that I didn't see. both in myself in a positive light and then potentially like what can I work on light. And then from there, I kind of took a break from it. I started getting into tarot cards and different things like that because the astrologer advised me to. He's like, start playing around with this. I'm like, interesting. Um, which I do sometimes. I don't do it as much anymore. But astrology, I think I probably got deeper into it a few months ago. Like I was just playing around. I was having fun and I was trying to understand myself better. And then it just became something fun. Like I would just talk to ChatGPT about astrology and then I'd start to give like my classmates little readings, like in between classes, it'd just be like, "Hey, you wanted an astrology reading?" Probably gave like 5, I don't know. And then the tipping point was at a party in this room in my apartment, which maybe I should throw another party because these magical things happen. About 3 hours into the party at like 11 PM, 2 girls come up to me, they're like, "Can you, like, give us a reading, like an astrology reading?" I'm like, "Sure, like, cool." And then we end up sitting on the floor here, like, me and a bunch of people talking about astrology. And from there, it's built. Like, one of my other friends, Tyler, who's kind of in this game, him and a girl came to my apartment, and I gave an hour astrology class. I was gonna post it, but I never posted it. That was a big turning point too, so I just kept going deeper and deeper into it, and I've just been following the curiosity, and then the idea for the newsletter is pretty recent, but I'll keep it at that for now.
Wow. That's so cool, like, doing it an in-person class like that, and the fact that it's kinda just, like, naturally unfolded that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just gone deeper and it's fun, like, I gave you an astrology reading in Instagram. It's super fun, like, and I get to understand people more or help them understand themselves more. And try to stay away from, like, prescriptive advice, but just as, like, this is the energy I'm seeing. So
Mm.
how I try to keep it. But yeah, I mean, what did you learn about yourself from the astrology chart?
Oh boy, that's a good question. Um, well, I think, like, one of the key takeaways or, like, pieces of information I felt really resonated with me was, like, to do with how you worded something. In summary, it was a portion of it or altogether or something. You described how, based on my chart, I'm meant to kind of, be grounded, like, be a visionary or a deep visionary, but also in a grounded way as well. And you mentioned how that's kind of paradoxical, but sometimes the truth is, found in the paradoxes. So something about, I think what you said there, based on my chart resonated, like, because that's how I feel. And like, if I think about my own journey, just navigating life, um, pursuing my truth or, my curiosities, that has been something that, like, comes up, I would say. It's like, okay, really great at having ideas and stuff, and I'm grounded in some ways, but I feel like to really create and to manifest my ideas, it does take that grounded component as well, which I think takes nurturing. Like, maybe everyone has, we have different tendencies and just natural personalities that sometimes you're more grounded, sometimes you're more idealistic and in your head and thinking. But yeah, that really resonated with me. And like, I think it's something for me to explore. Like, oh, how can I balance both? How can I appreciate the ideas and all these things and the vision, but then also distill it into something practical and grounding so that these things can be brought to life. So I really appreciated that reading you did for me. And that was just like one of the things that was like one key takeaway I felt.
That's awesome. I resonate. Like, I also am kind of a visionary or head in the clouds type of person at times, but I have elements of my chart that want me to be more grounded, like especially Saturn. I don't remember where your Saturn was. Do you remember?
I could pull it up real quick if I don't.
I knew we were gonna end up doing this. It's so funny. Um, I've done it in, like, the last 3 podcasts, like, just happens to happen, like, astrology readings.
Oh,
But
sick.
what was I saying about Saturn? I was saying grounded, right? Like, being spiritual or being very open to higher chakras or just, like, being more in your head, as you said.
Mhm.
I have begun to realize I need to do a better job of staying grounded. Like, I have not been very grounded. And so I'm learning how to fuse these into like practical real world stability and like playing on a football team too. Those things kind of ground me. But then in my free time, I'm always in visionary land.
Mhm,
So it's interesting. Like I'm learning that for sure.
mhm. Yeah, I have definitely some room to grow with myself when it comes to walking that line and the dance, if you will, between both. To answer your question, my you were asking about Saturn, right? Or where my Saturn
Yeah.
is. So mine's in Aries apparently. So
Ah. How old are you?
28.
What does Saturn and Aries mean to you?
I don't know.
That's all right. That's all right. This is when I would just be like, ChatGPT, like, tell me.
I can see the quick description on the page, but off the top of my head, like I know Aries is like more is Aries like an aggressive or not aggressive necessarily, but yeah, like a formidable kind of
Old
energy.
masculine fire energy.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's the grounded side too, I feel like.
Mm,
Like deepening into that, I learned from a friend recently that the lower three chakras are your masculine chakras. So like below the heart chakra are masculine chakras. And like working out, athleticism, Aries, taking super bold action in life, whatever it is you're doing, it's like that's that masculine fiery energy. And
mm,
I'm learning myself that is my next phase to get more grounded, is tapping deeper into my own masculine energy. Cause I got so into my feminine energy in Thailand when I went last year.
mm,
And I've been coming out of that. And I still like to be in that energy, but there's a balance.
mm. Yeah, like what you just said reminded me. I totally forgot about this recently, but it's interesting when like I hear like Aries is like fire. Like I think to myself, like just in my life, I think of like I've always been more watery, like water oriented. It makes sense. I'm a Pisces, but like
I see.
I've always been drawn to water, swimming. I like being outdoors and water and stuff. But I was at this sound like experience recently, and this lady did like she was doing sound bowls and stuff. It was like a yoga kind of thing. But anyways, towards the end, she did like Reiki and kind of gave us all an intuitive kind of message. And she came over to me. I'm lying down. She put her hands on my head, I think, and she started just like talking and saying like, "Oh, you have like a fiery like core, like a there's like some kind of fire within you." And at first glance, I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," because like typically in my head, I'm like always like associating myself with water and stuff. But she also brought up like a red dragon. I'm like, "What? That's so weird."
That's
I
totally Aries
right?
energy.
Okay, that's what I thought. And she was actually saying that that energy was related to like passion. So within me, there is some like passion that is fiery or fiery. I don't know how to speak necessarily, but
Mhm.
I was intrigued by that because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm so used to being flowy and water, but maybe yeah, within me in some part of my chart, when it comes to creativity and passion or something, like maybe there are fire elements at play or something. Um, but yeah, like I wanted to ask you about as well, unless you had a comment on that. I wanted to get into as well the difference between Vedic astrology and Western astrology because I'd seen you talk about that. But for someone like myself, I know very little still about astrology. I'd love to hear your take on the difference between those two.
Yeah, I just wrote about this today, so it's perfect timing in my new newsletter.
Cool.
But from my understanding, Western is more psychological and personality based and archetypal based, worldly based. I think about it as, and Vedic is more cosmological, like astrological. It's much more based on the exact precise position of the stars. And it's because Western does not account for this slow wobble over time that the planets like they shift and wobble. Western doesn't account for it. It's only based on the seasons, whereas Vedic calculates the wobble in. So the argument in the Vedic side is like Western's not right. It's 23 degrees off, like what's true. But I don't want to pick and choose one yet. And I don't know if I would, because I can see truth in both of them. In my own chart, I see truth in Western and I see truth in Vedic. Vedic feels more spirit oriented and soul oriented, and Western feels more human personality, psyche oriented.
Mm,
So I've shifted towards more Vedic myself.
mm.
In a way, I do think Western is beneficial as well. I really do think looking at both is it's like Vedic is more for your spiritual development, Western is more for your worldly development, but both are necessary in some ways. This is all kind of me theorizing. I haven't been trained or anything, just based on what I've felt and learned on my own. But dude, I have like this whole whiteboard behind me. Maybe you can see it.
Oh yeah.
It's the planetary shifts in Vedic astrology over the next year. So that can be an interesting topic to talk about, like what's going to happen, what's energetically going to happen. I'm not going to make specific predictions, but like energetically, what's supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's cool. So wait, do you have like a take off the top of your head, like that you feel
Mhm.
is
Here we can do this. We can look at the next like month, 2 months, and then reflect it to your energy. And like, what does that mean for your life? Because that's what's important. So it's like, okay, the sun is going into Gemini on June 14th. Okay, I could just make that statement, but like, why is it important?
mm,
For me, Gemini, I I would like to channel more energy into writing. And so Gemini reflects that. And so I'm like, okay, energetically, the cosmos are shifting towards the energy of Gemini, which is speaking and writing. And I want to deepen into my speaking and writing. So this, I'm going to work with the energy of the universe and deepen into that energy. So it's like a very deep energy game. So here, let's do this. You're a what sun? A Pisces sun in Vedic?
e yeah, so I have that link.
You want to share your screen?
Sure.
This is all that's part of the podcast.
Okay. This is my first time using Google Meet. So okay, let me figure it out. Let me go back to this
Should be on the
page.
bottom. It's like an arrow with the computer on it.
Okay. Present now?
Yeah.
Present. Okay. Allow to share window, let's say. Okay.
If it doesn't work, it's chill.
Okay. I'll cut any dead air from this.
No, it's good.
Okay, do you see my screen?
Yeah, I see the infinity window thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are.
Click on more details on the right. Planet positions, more details.
Oh, here.
Yeah. This is what I like to look at because you can see all the signs and all the houses. Pisces. Dude, this Saturn is in Pisces right now. And it's gonna be in Pisces through the end of the year. Like Pisces or Saturn's kind of slow moving.
Hmm.
So it's interesting. Saturn, Aries, Pisces. That's what I'm looking at, like this combination. So, okay, I want to ask you a question more so.
Okay.
What energy do you want to call into your life, or what energy do you want to deepen into? What are you thinking about in the next month or two?
I would say bold action and like as it relates to expression and putting myself out there and creating. So yeah, like movement, like actual movement, creation, that kind of thing. That answers
Yeah,
your question.
definitely. And so you're frozen right now on the screen. So maybe you could. We don't need to share the screen. It's okay.
Sure. Okay.
Um,
It's weird.
no, it's all good. Well, I think we got a snapshot. I got a mental snapshot. Now you probably I still would love if you could look, but okay, you want to channel more energy into creation and new things,
Hmm.
right? Mars right now is something called debilitated in Cancer. So Mars is quote unquote, I believe its enemy or its least optimal placement is in Cancer because Mars is bold, fiery action, god of war type energy, Aries energy. Mars rules Aries. So Cancer is like very watery, emotionally nurturing, mother type of energy in a way. And so right now it's not the optimal time or energetic season for very bold creation, but like it's coming out of you. You could kind of almost feel it. But June 7th, it moves to Leo. Leo is charismatic, bold, center of attention, self-expressive, playful, energizing. That is the energy Mars is going into in, like, 2 weeks. And so it's prime time for, like, somebody like you, somebody like me to step into that energy and be like, "Okay, it's time to be bold."
Mm, neat. Very
And
interesting.
you should feel it naturally too.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
that's the thing, you don't and I'm learning this myself, you don't wanna get, like, trapped in, like, what does it say, and then, like, affirm it to yourself and then just believe it. But if you really feel it, like, I feel I'm pretty high energy right now, but I felt the past few weeks, like, my creative energy, fire is just a bit lower.
Mm, I could relate to that. What I like about this and like what I appreciate or I'm beginning to appreciate about astrology is that like it kind of yeah, it gives you like a not a schedule per se, but like knowing what's in what and it really does give you a perspective to base your kind of weeks or months on, right?
Yeah.
Um like I think of human design, for example, and according to human design, I'm a manifester. And what really relates to me about that is, or resonates with me about that is like apparently manifestors are supposed to work in bursts. Like you show up, can maybe pump out for a week or two like this, you create, you're doing stuff, and then recharge.
Mm.
And that actually resonates with me. But yeah, similar to astrology here, like I really do see the importance of like oh, yeah, just being aware of what's going on astrologically and why not align your routine or what you're working on with that because it's gonna make everything easier. It should be more effortless in that sense, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I resonate with the manifestor comment. I'm a manifesting generator, but I feel like you're more of a artist than
Mhm,
anything else. And maybe that's true, maybe it's not, I don't know, but that's just the feeling I get.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, my whole, like, if I were to describe we haven't even touched on, like, the creator economy and everything.
You are just thinking about that, how things have changed.
Yeah, it's so interesting just seeing where the conversation goes, but, um sorry, what did you just say about, oh, yeah, like, yeah, when I think about definitely I've becoming more in tune with that fact that, yeah, I do have some sense of artistry about me that I want to express aside from, like, even just the business related things. But it's just interesting. It's all a journey, like, trying to balance everything and, like, in this creator economy or making money online and carving out your own path, a lot of the times it starts with, like, some freelance skill or, like, a business related skill. But then I'm finding it really interesting just, on my own journey and seeing what others do, like, sure, you can get your foot in the door with, freelancing or, like, copywriting, ghostwriting. I know you started with ghostwriting, right?
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, like, when it comes back to how you said I come across more maybe more as an artist, like, in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, like, that I think is, like, my primary thing. I like just expression and just creativity for the sake of it, but then it's, like, a matter of, "Oh, well, yeah, how do I bridge that, and how do I still, make a living? How do I still, step my way there to yeah, sure, eventually it'd be cool to just, like, express for the sake of it and just do that maybe, but I
Wait,
think,
tell me about that. What do you wanna do ultimately?
um, it's a good question.
Not forever, but, like, what can you see is like, "I wanna do that."
I think, like well, I think one key thing is, like, yeah, serving others in a way that's more so I just show up and, like, relay ideas or concepts and, like, meet people where they're at, and through conversation or through coaching, guidance, some kinda offer like that, people experience transformation, people experience positive shifts and, like, um, things like that, like, in addition to, though, like, yeah, more so just, like, purely creative outlets, like, actually the music or I don't know, other little things. Like I go down so many random creative rabbit holes sometimes. And then I realize, okay, that was awesome. But like, okay, I wake up today and I still have this to do, or like I have freelance work that's like unrelated to that. But yeah, I see myself serving others in a more creative way that's like just with flow and like showing up, not necessarily like deliverables of like this marketing material and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mhm. I resonate. I'm walking that path right now too. Like, I have some marketing positions as well. So, they're cool for sure. I have the same sentiment as, like, I would love to just be, like, an artist and create my own stuff all day, and that's I feel like that's my North Star. I just wanna write. I wanna be a writer. That's my thing. I wanna write.
Mm,
And right now, I can use my other skill set with writing in the mix to create my own work and create my own schedule. That's what you can really do with a skill set. You can create your own work in your own schedule that allows you to do what you want. And then it's about how do I then expand what I'm doing for what I want so that it becomes the main thing,
mm,
which takes time. That's the thing a lot of people don't talk about in the creator economy either. Like, it takes time for things to manifest. Like, you want to be Dan Co overnight. You're just getting into the creator economy, or like it's gonna happen in like a year, bro. It's gonna take a long time to become who you're meant to be.
yeah, yeah. And on that note, something that's coming up is like the idea of wandering. And I know I heard Jeff Bezos mention how part of his day, every day is like he wanders, like just whatever, exploring, reading, scrolling on his phone, something, some form of wandering, which at first glance to many people, including myself, it's like, oh, I would have thought Jeff Bezos wakes up at 3 a.m. and grinds and goes in the cold tub and like does this and like
Right?
all that stuff. So
He's tapped into synchronicity.
I
That's what it is.
to literally ask you about some
Love.
oh, we're in flow,
Well,
we're in flow.
yeah.
Uh,
It is synchronicity though. Like when you're like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Go down this Twitter rabbit hole. Go down this Substack thing. Oh, interesting. Like you tap into the positive possibility of higher alternate timelines opening up. Than like this is what I need to do at every minute of the day.
yeah. Can you speak to that a bit more about like um I want the story that comes to mind is like I want to bring up even when we had our first call. I booked a call with you, I think like months ago, right? But then we talked about podcasts, and then on that call, some random girl in the coffee place or whatever, you were
That
sitting.
was crazy.
Yeah, like I want to talk about that just to summarize it real quick. There was something else I was going to go with there, but yeah, Jack and I had a call, and on that call, where you were in a coffee shop, or
Yeah, I was in a coffee shop like near my hometown.
yeah, and so we were talking. You might have said something about a podcast, but anyways, some girl literally sitting next to you, you didn't know, just blurted out like, what did she say? Do you remember something about like?
He was like, "Tell him to start the podcast," because she heard me on the phone. And then it turned out she had a podcast in this small suburban town in Illinois. Like, what are the odds? And it's like kind of it's a spiritual podcast. It's like,
Mm,
what the fuck? So,
yeah.
and right when me and you were coming to conclusion that you thought you wanted to start a podcast,
Y
and then there was just like confirmation from the universe, like, okay, yeah, like the signs are pretty fucking obvious now.
yeah.
That's
It
so cool. And then you actually did it, which is cool. Cause like the synchronicity, the signs, they don't mean anything if you don't do the thing.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it took a little bit, but finally I'm up and running. But yeah, like, on that note, of synchronicity, as it relates to wandering, can you speak to that, like, I'm trying to think for myself, there's definitely been instances where wandering and just going off the beaten path has allowed for synchronicities to unfold, or, for example, like how I personally got into freelancing and doing things online whatsoever was it was during COVID and I was just traveling across Canada. I was in Alberta. I was going to this event. It was like an activism event for animal rights. And I met someone there and just connected with them, me and a group of people actually. But then the next day I was hanging out with these people and this guy was like, "Hey, yeah, like I build websites, like I make money online. I get to enjoy my days most of the time. Like I don't do much work, but it's paying my bills and everything." I was like, "Oh, that's really interesting." And like, what's funny about that is like, I was actually not even going to, when I went to this event, this is really getting into the weeds with it, but when I showed up for this event, no one was there, and I was literally about to leave, like, I was like, "Okay, I'll give it 2 more minutes, like, it's been 20 minutes, no one's here yet, maybe I'm in the wrong spot." Just as I was about to walk away, I see the people come around the corner, like, the organizers of this event, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go back." But anyways, that's all just to say, like, I found for myself that actually wandering and doing things that aren't like what every guru's saying, like, yeah, just lock yourself in the room, grind it out, you'll get there eventually. I've found that wandering allows for things to flow and synchronicities arise so that you can actually accomplish what your goal is with ease. Like things just happen, right? So I'd be curious to hear, Jack, like in your experience, like does anything come to mind when it comes to wandering, synchronicities, that kind of thing, things aligning?
Yeah, a lot. I love that story too, because your life changed based on a sign in a positive direction. So I think I would assume that in the state of enlightenment, life is one endless string of synchronicities. Every moment is like wandering because you're so present, you don't know what the next thing is, but everything is in perfect flow. Like you're truly one with the universe. And I'm speaking speaking like kind of from theory, but like at times I feel tapped into that flow, into that state. Maybe you felt it like on a psychedelic trip or when you're in flow in the basketball court or whatever it is, like you're one with what is. I think in that end state, this is I think where our desire to want to I just want to create for a living, right? Where does that come from? It comes from a deeper desire of I want to be whole with the universe. I want to be in complete harmony with my nature.
Mm,
That's like the deeper part of the creator economy. It's like, how do you get paid to become to become enlightened? That's an interesting thing. I don't know if you'd frame it like that. It could be perceived as a cult, but it wouldn't be. Like, because you're just what we're trying to do, why we get into the creator economy, why we want to create art and make money on our art. That's what I think the higher levels you're doing too. You're making money on your art, be it a clothing brand or a podcast or your pieces of writing or a brand like a clothing brand, whatever it is. You're getting paid to create art, and, like, that's our natural state to just be in a state of play, creating art, like, kids draw and create all day. They create playing sports, they create drawing art, making paintings, reading books, like, they're just constantly in that flow, and that's what we're trying to remember, and the creator economy, thinking very meta, could be the bridge to that new earth. So it can go pretty meta and pretty deep.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, on that note of like a new earth, what is, what comes up for you when you think of like where we're headed in terms of creator economy, like, or just in general, like what comes up for you? Like, what do you think that looks like, or what are the main things that are going to be
Need for
prevalent?
lights, no.
Okay, go for it.
Creator economy, new earth, there's an angle there for sure.
Mm,
I wanna play with more, but not now. And we're gonna play with it now, I guess, right? We're just playing with ideas. And
yeah.
okay, if this is super utopian, but, like, if everybody could get paid to be themselves and do what they love and create value to other people, that would be the new earth. But the paradox is that in this new earth where everybody's free to create and play and say our baseline needs are taken care of, this is utopian, but, like, technology and AI, what are we building them for? We're building them to solve our material needs. Once we solve our material needs as a Earth, which will require universal harmony between all the seemingly different countries, which are not actually real, in, like, real reality. In that reality, we'll solve our material problems, and so where else do we then develop from an evolution perspective? Spiritually. That is also the 5D new Earth. And I think in that new Earth, money, the concept of money would probably, like, disappear.
Hmm.
If the Earth was vibrating above love from the map of consciousness. Now that's a tall task, but love is our inherent nature, so we're just trying to remember as a species right now. So the creator economy could be a bridge for the individual to find out who they are. So if and when that new Earth shift happens, they're not gonna be completely jarred by it. They've already been living in that frequency. This
Mhm.
could go super deep into, like, the book of Revelations and stuff too, like, I'll say a quick comment, I don't wanna go down that rabbit hole too much, but we could, I if we want to.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Um, in Revelations, it's like heaven and hell will fade away, like, they'll part from each other, and it's gonna be this crazy scene. Now, are they speaking literally? Are they speaking metaphorically, symbolically? I think the latter, especially in that book, 'cause it's all, like, prophecy. But, like, in this new Earth split, like, Earth will become these are the theories, become a fifth dimensional planet, and yeah, this goes so deep. I'm gonna stop it there for now.
It's yeah, it's fascinating for me to even try to wrap my head around it. It's like, yeah, like fifth dimensional. Like
It means that, like,
it's like,
we would all be able to, like, telecommunicate and, like, we'd all be living in the frequency of love. Everybody would have, like, extrasensory perception. It'd
mm,
be like a big state of unity, like, unity consciousness.
mm.
I think there would still be separate individuals, but even at some level, that would go away too.
And when we talk about topics like that, something I think about is like, you mentioned technology or AI and things like I wonder what role technology will serve, if any, in that. Because like when it comes to something like, you know, telekinesis or speaking just through the mind, I'm sure definitely there's people that can just do that as humans. But I see Elon Musk coming up with the Neuralink and chips and things, which, oh, maybe those like eventually can kind of through technology do similar things. I wonder what your thoughts are on that, or yeah, like, do you think we're gonna that new Earth, will it involve maybe technology in some areas, but then in other areas where some things never change, like when it comes to spiritual growth and like tapping into a certain frequency? You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm. That's a really great idea, and I've heard it put that just like we have smartphones to just communicate with each other now, people in Atlantis would just telecommunicate. These are the theories. So, and is that real or is it metaphorical? I don't know. But we are basically engineering all these fifth dimensional abilities with technology. Like the ability to FaceTime, we've engineered telekinesis, basically, or like seeing another person in a hologram. So, yeah, we're going to keep engineering things that try to mimic ultimately God, I think. Um, and this is the idea of the singularity, where like technological evolution and our perception of it become what is it? Inconceivable. Like you can't imagine a split. They're just one.
Mhm.
That could be it as well. Now, do we become cyborgs? I don't know, bro. Maybe. I think shit's gonna get really crazy.
Yeah. And it's like, it really adds a weight. I feel like to me, like if I just think about it, I feel like I don't know why weight comes up, but it feels like there's stakes in a way like for people and civilization as a whole. I think it's so important that people people who are on a path, like doing something online, carving out their own paths, making money online, whatever it is, whatever the entry point is, to share that with the world, because I know there's so many people who could benefit, or I feel like the masses don't know these nooks and crannies of the internet, like money, Twitter, or what's going on with AI. Like just the masses might be just kind of in the monotony of their daily lives, and they don't know there's another way to do things and live their lives and approach things, if that makes any sense.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I feel like it's I don't know where I'm going with that exactly, but I feel like there is like an importance there to express oneself if you are doing anything like that, like spiritually or just online. Like it really is stepping into like that new earth you described. Like there's going to become and there already is a new way to approach life and doing things in business and spirituality. All this stuff overlaps, obviously, but it's something I think about. Like,
I think I think the entire game is saving your spirit when that happens. I feel like you can already see it, like, people becoming mindless or, like, just completely coaxed by the matrix, by the illusion of society, just fully living in that. Can you retain your authentic spirit, and can you grow it? That's the game. But it's like it's fundamentally understanding who you are too.
mm,
That's the deeper level.
yeah,
And that's the thing I don't think most people realize in the world. Most people have a fundamental illusion that they are this ego, this person, this human, and that's it. There's much more to this reality than what appears at first,
yeah,
I believe.
for sure. I don't know why this just came to mind, but like, yeah, when it comes to doing things online, business related things, or just content creation, like, it seems that, like, at least if I speak from experience, like, oh, okay, I wanted to solve the problem of money, or I wanted to have a job that allowed me more time freedom or something. Like, I entered with a pain point or problems to solve, but I think, like, yeah, I wonder if, like, eventually in this new earth kind of situation, if, like, yeah, all those survival needs are covered. So it's like, instead of asking, okay, what problem am I trying to solve, and what business opportunity do I need to utilize? Like,
There's no problems to solve.
yeah, there's no problems. So it's like,
Presence and play.
yeah, exactly. So I wonder what that would look like. Like, what kind of, like, practices or whatever would be
It would look
common?
like an elementary school playground, but with adults. Like, we might be still having this conversation.
Yeah,
Just be fun. You just
yeah,
be doing what feels most fun at each moment. You go on a bike ride, you go play a sport, you go read something, you go write something, who knows?
yeah. And
It'll
whatever
all
it
just be
is,
creativity.
yeah, and you're not limited by either any problem or pain point or whatever. It's just like, what do you want to do? What do you want to express just as you are? That's super fascinating.
Yeah. All our survival needs would be gone, theoretically. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we would solve the base survival needs. So what is left?
Yeah.
Health, relationships, spirituality, or self-actualization.
Mm,
It's really cool to think about this. I haven't thought about these ideas so deeply, probably in a while, if ever.
wow. Yeah, same.
The
Yeah.
Piscean energy, dude, I'm a Cancer, so, like, I'm pretty I'm Cancer in Vedic. I'm pretty watery, so I can, like, flow with whatever energy is present, and I'm definitely into your Pisces. And I have 5th house in Pisces, so, like, my creativity is of the flavor of Pisces. So that's why
Uh,
this is a banger
that
conversation.
that's cool. Well, dude, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, I'm having a blast as well. We might have already touched on it, but I want to kind of like bridging astrology, bridging creator economy, doing things online. Um, what is like a maybe a practical way, like if someone's curious about astrology and maybe they do want to create they want to start a business or something, like how would you suggest someone kind of dip their toes in astrology, or like begin to understand their astrology so that they can make things flow easier as opposed to just going off their ideas?
It's a great question. It's a really fucking I've never been asked this question. It's a great question. Um, you don't have to go become an astrologer, like, but you can learn to work with the energies both within yourself and the universe to align with what you're trying to accomplish. So let me give you a practical example, but you have to figure this out for yourself at the same time and know it well enough. And this is why the new newsletter I'm building, I think, is really going to help people because it's going to give you daily updates on here's what's happening. Now go compare it to your chart. Um, yeah, I have another idea with that of like making it custom AI where you would get a custom insight. So if there's any developers out there listening, send me a message. But okay, how do you work with it? How did I work with it? Okay, so last week, the past 2 weeks, Mars was in Aries. I felt something I wanted to approach was paying off finances, chipping away at different things, chipping away at financial debts that I've accumulated over the past 2 years, just one by one. And so Mercury being in Aries, Mercury's communication, Aries is bold. I was like, this is a season where I'm going to just be bold with my messaging and I'm just going to boldly put out emails of here's my retreat, here's my coaching offer, here's my astrology reading. Also, like I'm going to text all my friends and say, hey, like, do you need a writer? Like, I'm down to do some writing. And from that, I picked up like 3 marketing gigs in like a month or 2 in 2 weeks. And those 2 weeks was because of the seeds I planted in Aries. Now, the seed does not always come to fruition right within it, but the energy I put into that season manifested a few weeks to a month later. So, okay, let me try to summarize it in essence. You still need a skill. You need a practical skill, and you need to be able to provide value to people. I believe it service is probably the easiest, the freelancing service. Video editing, thumbnail design, short form editing. People, there's like no short form editors out there. Like this is a you could jump on that with video editing. You combine all these and you're like very, very valuable. But like web design, ghostwriting, funnel building, video editing, learn a freelance skill, get good at it, and then work with the energies of the universe to make it work.
Mm.
That's my approach. That's very different than most ghostwriting coaches' approaches, but it's
Yeah.
in my path, so I have to that's what I know to teach. I don't know, like, set up this ad system on LinkedIn. I don't know that.
Mhm.
Maybe I could learn that, but I'm not so interested right now.
Yeah, it's almost like there's different entry points. There's different even within these things, like say you wanna land clients for something, it's like there's different things to focus on or different angles to approach that from. Like you're saying, like one option is to focus more so on the astrology, maybe, in addition to, yes, having a skill. But I know there's, yeah, like I feel like we're still so early in the grand scheme of things when it comes to this topic you're talking about with astrology as it relates to consecration or building a business or whatever. Like it is, even aside from that stuff, like mainstream society and the world, I feel like doesn't understand totally yet, like the significance of astrology, even though I know,
I wrote it off completely until, like, a year ago. Well, not even 6 months ago.
wow. And it's even, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this too. Like even, um, for some reason, for whatever reason, it seems to be like, for example, I have a girlfriend, and when I go to these spiritual events, usually it's a sound healing thing or something. We did like this yoga thing the other night. Um, and this thing we did the other night, it was like originally just like advertised as like for girls only or something. I didn't know that, but my girlfriend on my behalf just asked the girl like, "Hey, like, is it okay if I bring my boyfriend? Like, I know it said, girls only." And then she was like, "Oh yeah, for sure. Like, actually, I'm gonna take this as a sign to open the door to men as well because maybe this is meant to be like maybe, yeah, it doesn't need to be just girls only. It could be dudes as well." Anyways, I was expecting to just, as usual, be the only guy at one of these kind of events. But when we went, there were actually like a handful of dudes that went, and I think it only happened maybe because like, we kind of initiated that and said, "Hey, my girlfriend reached out and asked about that." Um, but I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on like, especially I know you're in school and like you're on a football team and like you're surrounded by dudes a lot, I'd imagine, right? So I think I've read your emails about like, or maybe on Twitter you were talking about like, yeah, giving readings to your classmates, like you just said. What is your take on that? Like dudes getting more into astrology like us, like, do you notice that on a wide scale, like men are becoming more attuned or like into this at least, or like how would you talk about that?
Yeah. First of all, I wanna say that's a beautiful experience to go, and I think it links into your question perfectly because those spaces, they're pretty, like, vulnerably, emotionally intimate, right? You're, like, very opening yourself up to being more in your feminine in a way, like you're receiving things spiritually, or like you're receiving the sound healing, you're receiving the massage or whatever it is. Yoga more a little more active, but I think there's a level of emotional openness that might be required to even be interested in something like that. And men, on general, are probably not as emotionally open as women. Like we tend to like harden ourselves and not think about those topics as much because they're not as it's not in our nature as much. It's in the feminine nature. It's why I think learning to tap into your feminine energy as a man is also really important. Um, and I want to write and talk more about that. There's so many things I want to write and talk about, dude. It's like, when is when's the time going to come? Um, but no, I don't see it in college as many people, as many men are interested. There's a handful. There's been a handful here and there. But like on my football team, do I give people astrology readings? Nah. Like if they asked for it, fuck yeah. Like, dude, I'm so down, but I don't go bring it up. It'd be like, dude, like well, I mean, I've had little conversations here and there with like my strength coach and like another teammate or two, but for the most part, it's like kind of just dismissed and laughed off as like that's like just some crazy shit.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it's just in my nature to like dive deep into esoteric things. But I would say on average, no. Women are way more open. Like if I gave, let's say, 25 astrology readings throughout the college semester, I would say 20 of them would be women.
Wow. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, at least the cool thing about putting yourself out there online and doing what you're doing is like you're able to connect with whoever across the world. So there are other men interested in these topics, but yeah, it's like in locally, for example, like in my case, like I don't often see men at like these little spiritual experiences or meditation classes and stuff, but different things like that. Meditation maybe more so, but yeah, when it comes to astrology, yeah, it's like the cool thing is like you can put yourself out there and do the newsletter as you're doing and just talk about it and like people are going to find you either way.
Mhm.
So that's super, super powerful. And I love that you're kind of exploring that because I'm learning from you so much just about the astrology. Like when you gave my reading initially, I was like, whoa, Jack knows a lot about this. Like I'm still like a couple months ago, I wasn't even aware. I never knew of like the planets where the planets are with the signs or something. All I knew was like, okay, I'm a Pisces. Like, and then I'd hear like my girlfriend or other girls talk about, oh yeah, and where's your like Saturn? Oh, it's in this. And I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, girls are so smart with that. They're like curious about it. They're more open.
Yeah, for sure. And like they just it seems like yeah, I don't think it's necessarily every girl, obviously, but like the girls I hear my girlfriend talking to or friends and stuff, like they'll hear like, oh, so and so's a this, and they're like, oh wow, okay, their sign is in what? Like that makes so much sense. And I'm like,
Well,
I'm still not at that point where like I can calculate, oh, okay, that means that. But I appreciate that what you're doing and talking about these topics because it's super interesting and powerful,
thank you.
of course. Um, so I wanted to ask you just like generally, um, what you're looking forward to like bringing to life. I know you have the Thailand retreat coming up, which sounds amazing. Like, do you want to maybe speak on that? What you have planned for that? Like, what kind of energy are you planning or want to cultivate over the next little bit? Because that retreat's coming up next month, is it? Or
Yeah, it's a few weeks, I
what?
think. Yeah, like 3 weeks. Another great Piscean question. I would describe the question as it's such a Pisces question. Like so visionary, and I love thinking about it. So, okay, what's in front of me? I'm going to Thailand June 11th. I'm going to be building two projects with a friend named Will Mines. You know Will Mines from Texas.
Oh yeah.
We're going to be building two communities. One of the communities will be more intro, beginner level. How do you make money online? Not necessarily talking about astrology and stuff in there. The higher ticket community will be much more metaphysical and spiritual. So those two communities are in the play. Celestia, the newsletter I just started, it's pretty fun and I'm feeling the momentum. So I could see that being something that becomes very consistent and it will be consistent because now there's people signed up. So it's like, okay, here you go. Like that surprised me. A few people signed up for the paid tier. I'm like, okay, cool.
Wow.
Let's let's keep seeing what happens. Um, so there's that, and then there's a book I want to write right now called The Creative Worker about how to navigate the consciousness and AI revolution. So that is in the works as well. So a lot of exciting things. I'm working on better managing my time and focus because there's so many ideas, but I need to focus to bring them into manifest. So I've been working on that domain, still working on it.
Yeah, that's a lot. It sounds like a lot, but it's exciting.
Exactly. It's like, fuck, if it was all play, what would I do? I would just go try it.
Yeah. Um, Something that just came up for me on that is like, yeah, how do you when you're balancing so many things and like you want to progress like at them or build them, create them, in addition to school and the fact you're on a football team, like how do you have any like practical tips or mindset things for one to utilize in order to bring these things to life? Like, say, like, yeah, you have a lot of ideas, but maybe you procrastinate for a bit or something. Like, what, how do you like I describe it as like, for me, I think about it, it's like sometimes I need my own adult or I need to step into like the organizer, like some kind of overhead operator role that's like, okay, creative energy child, do this because like you have to actually do that in order for this to happen. So like this is a long-winded way to just ask like, how do you hold yourself accountable and kind of stay organized and progressing with so many things on the go?
Yeah, the truth is that I don't always by any means. Like, I am very much figuring it out. So that's one. Also, sometimes there's a need to take action, whether it be financial need or whatever it is. Like you need to take an action, you're gonna be more likely to take the action. With all the different things though, like at the same time, again, you have to look into your nature. And I'm a manifesting generator. I'm I don't know what system I want to use, but I'm a Cancer, so I can like shift between a bunch of things and be watery. So it's just kind of in my nature to try to do a lot. I'm still working at it, but practical tips because I guess I don't always give myself enough credit either. So that's another thing. But I think journaling is so important. Like not handwritten journaling necessarily, but you just need to get ideas out of your head. I saw this great Substack today. It was like, if you overthink, write. If you underthink, read.
Mm.
That was so good. And I recently have been more in the overthinking camp. Too many ideas, too in my head. But recently I've been journaling more and just getting it out more. And it feels very cathartic and it orders my mind to like what's important. Because these things that I just told you about right now, they haven't even been clear until like a few days ago or even me speaking it to you right now. Like it's been chaos for a long time. But like
Well,
I'm trying to order that because like you're the same way. You could probably see huge visions. But then it's like, how do you bring that down into practical steps, one in front of the other?
mhm.
Sometimes two going at the same time. But yeah,
Yeah. No, dude, like, yeah, so well said. Yeah, from the outside looking in, like, I feel like, yeah, just your online presence and what you do, it seems to me you're pumping out YouTube videos, you have podcasts going on, you have the newsletter. So I know I have a lot of growth to do in this area when it comes to the day to day, like holding myself accountable, doing these things. So yeah, it looks like you're doing great, like from what I can tell, and like
yeah.
so much. So yeah,
Thank
definitely
you.
give yourself credit for more of that.
Thank you. And one comment on that too is like everybody's energy will manifest differently. Mine right now is manifesting in like I can I can write a lot, I can post a lot of content, I can do a lot of different things at the same time. But some people might post one great newsletter a month and that's all they do. Or like Paul Graham, the venture capitalist founder or Y Combinator, he posts like one essay every few months and they're incredible. And that's what he's known for. And then he tweets here and there too. But what your highest expression is going to look like is going to be different for everybody.
Mhm.
And it's like, how do you find it without judgment? Like, okay, all these other people are posting on all these things. Or this guy's writing like books. How is he writing books? It's like, fuck what everybody else is doing. Like, what feels right for me energetically?
Yeah.
I'm still finding that too, by the way. Most definitely.
Same. And that is, yeah, it's so different to, yeah, just a lot of the sentiment online, I feel like, where it's kind of just like, it seems that in most cases with these information and guides and courses and stuff, it's like the individual themselves as a core essence is kind of often ignored. And it's just like, just do this thing, just do this thing. But I think there's something to that, like maybe coming, like sitting with yourself for a bit and just trying to tune into who you are and what you're all about in the first place, and then kind of go from there as opposed to, um, like, yeah, I know a lot of people, it's hard to say because like part of it is journeying and like trying different things out, but then also it's like you can get in that trap where you're just kind of aimlessly going from thing to thing, and it's like someone's sales argument is like saying this is actually the new thing this month, like this, if you don't do this you're gonna miss out, like,
Hmm.
so I think it's really important, to, yeah, like just sit with yourself and understand who you are and what you're all about in the first place.
Hmm. Yeah,
um
I
uh,
resonate. I was gonna say something on that, but it almost slipped my mind. Yeah, it'll come back if it's meant to.
okay, yeah, no worries. Yeah, man. So I know we're probably close to an hour, over an hour. I don't know exactly when we started, but
I think I probably forgot because my brain was just overstimulated from this crazy conversation.
we're going all over the place. But yeah, man, I appreciate you coming on, and like I just wanted to ask you too, like just on a broader note, before I ask for you to share your socials and all that good stuff, like um anything in particular, any message that's coming through to you that you want to relay based off everything we kind of talked about in this podcast, I'd be curious.
Yeah, I think it's the card. It's be seen, let the world know your gifts, whatever it is. And who cares what it is? But you'll find it.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. Like, even aside from business stuff, all the stuff, like someone out there has a passion. We all have passions. We all have things we're interested in. All it takes is like showing up and doing the thing. And then if you want to do something online, sure, just record it. Like, you don't need to know all the frameworks yet. You don't need to do anything. But I feel like,
Mhm,
yeah, there's so much power in just like showing up, even if it's imperfect, even though that's just, subjective anyways. Like, just show up and, like you're saying, yeah, just do the thing. Like, there's nothing really holding us back. So, I appreciate that insight, and I'm gonna keep that in mind myself throughout my days.
I'll send you a picture of the card.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I'd love that. So yeah, do you want to just share like your socials, your handles for things, like where people can find you?
Yeah, I think it's Jack Mose is 0 everywhere, like every platform. Um, I'm getting deeper into Substack, so pop over there. I'll probably be posting a lot more long form writing. And then there's that second newsletter, which you'll see on Substack. It's called Celestia. That's the astrology newsletter. Other than that, I mean, if you sign up for my email list on Substack, you'll just see everything that I'm creating. So,
Perfect.
yeah, I think that's good.
Perfect. Well, Jack, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks
And
so much, Brad. This was so fun. This was one of the most fun podcasts I ever did.
dude, I'm glad. I'm glad. Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.